Good morning, Alexis and Levi and Jaden. Good morning, Garen and Mason. Good morning, Matthew and Blaze and Kylie and Adeline. Today we are going to review how we can round by tens and hundreds. You worked on this yesterday, but we are going to have some more practice with that and exercise our brain muscles some more. Now, when we finish with this, we will have a time where we will work together and then a time when you will be able to work on your own. So for the first 10 minutes, you're just going to listen and I will explain to you as a review on what we're doing and give you some helpful hints on how to round so that by the end of this lesson, you will be able to do this on your own. So that is our goal, is for you to be able to do this on your own, to be able to round to the tens and the hundreds. So first, I'd like to remind you that when we are looking for our tens, we're looking at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and 90. You remember counting by tens. Now, that is something that you learned, several years ago, to be able to count by those hundreds. And by your tens. When you count by your hundreds, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, and then 1,000. That's all we're going to round up to. That's what we're learning how to do. Counting by tens and thousands counting by tens and hundreds, that is your groundwork. You have that groundwork. So now we can take the next step. You've learned how to do number lines. We've done that. Our first number line is 0 through 10, and it is helping us to find what is the center. The center is the 5. That's always going to be our middle. If you'll look here, if we have 50 to 60, we go 50, 55, 60. Our center is a 5. When we come down here and we're working with these larger numbers, it is 320, 325, 330. Do you notice a pattern? That's what we're looking for, is the patterns. We're always going to have our numbers that are our tens, like when we're counting by tens. When you do your number line, that's what you're going to round to. When you have a number that you are rounding with tens, you're going to look for something that you would say if you were counting by tens. Your middle is a significant part. Your middle number is the one that is our halfway mark. Our middle number is always going to end in a 5, and it is going to tell us if we need to round down to 50 or if we need to round up to 60. If we need to round down to 320 or round up to 330. In a little bit, we're going to work together and we're going to make our own number line so that you can see this also. So we have, let's say our number that we have is the number 7. I got a card here. I drew a card. Number 7. So we're going to look on our chart and we're going to find the 7. I'm going to put an X on top of the 7. That is the number I want to round to. Is my 7 closer to 0 or closer to 10? Well, it's past the halfway mark. If a number is at the halfway mark or higher, then I have to round up to my higher 10. If it was down here, I would round down to my lower 10. And in this case, it would be a 0. But if it is 7, I'm going to round up. I have a phrase that helps us to learn this. And our phrase is a number is between, if it is between, thank you for bearing with me, a number is between blank and blank, but closer to this. It rounds to here. So looking at our chart, we said that 7, we'll put a 7 up. We'll say that 7 is closer to, that 7, that's our number that we are asked to round. 7 is between what numbers? Is between 0 and 10. So we're going to put a 0 and we're going to put a 10. Because that's what our number line tells us. Our number line is our friend. Because we look at the halfway mark and we see which side. If it's 5 or more, if it's on that right side, we're going to go up. Okay, but if it's on the left side, that means it's lower. So it is closer to 10. And you know what? That means that our number is rounding to 10. It is closer to 10, so it rounds to 10. And I'm using these Post-it marks because that way I can keep using my sentence over and over, and I can change out my numbers just to give us some extra practice with that. Now, this is something that is a good sentence for you to write down. So let's take off the numbers, and then you can write that sentence down on a piece of paper, because this is your structure. This is what's going to help you say that phrase and come up with what your number is rounded to. We can put any numbers in this chart and be able to round when we think of it this way. So write that down if you need to. Go ahead and pause your video. That's fine. You can do it. So I'm going to take those off so we can do another example. Here's our one with 50, 55, and 60. Well, today, my number that I'm going to give you is 53. So let's look at that. So 53 is between 50 and 60, right? Because we can say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. We know that 50, 51, 52, 53 is between those two tens. So we are going to write down in our sentence that it is between 50 and 60. So we have that. Our number 53 is between those two numbers. Now, when we look at our number line, we are going to put 53 on it. Where do you think the 53 is going to go? It's going to go about right here. So we'll put that for 53. And because we know 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, you can put those marks to help you figure that out. It is a good idea to put those marks for you to count it out. So we put an X on our 53. So where is it on the number line? Is it closer to 50 or closer to 60? Yes, you've got this. It's closer to 50. So that is what our number rounds to. So when we have this, our sentence reads 53 is between 50 and 60, but closer to 50. See how it is closer to 50 down here? And that means it rounds to what class? It rounds to 50, okay? So we're going to just keep continuing and practicing these. Well, sometimes we have a number that is in the hundreds, and we need to round a number that is in the hundreds. But it says round it to, not the tens, not the hundreds, but we're going to round it to the tens. So my number this time is 326. So we have to think about our number, what it is in between. So if we were going to count by tens, we would say 10, 20, 30. We would say 310, 320, 330. What number will we look at first? Well, we know that is a 2 right there in our tens place. So what we do first is we write down the 3, then we write down the 2, and we put a 0 with it because it's 326. The 2 is in our tens place. So we're going to put 320. What is the next number if we're counting by tens? 320, 330. So that is our number at this end of our chart. So we put those numbers in. Now, since we know what it is in between, we're going to fill that part of our sentence in. It's between 320 and 330. So which one is it closer to? Let's see, 320, 321, 323, 324. Then we have 325. I have to keep going until I hit 326. 325, 326. I can stop right there because I've counted up to my number. Which one is it closest to? 326 is closer to 320 than to 330. So we can put that down on our chart. It is closer to 330. And that means it rounds to 330. The next one that we are going to do is if we are going to round to the nearest hundreds. So when we are rounding to the nearest hundreds, we still use that same sentence. If our number is 742, it is going to be in between the 700s, because we have a 7 in the hundreds place, and in between the 800s, 500, 600, 700, 800 is next. That's how we know where to put those spots on our number line. Where does this one fall? Well, it's less than 750, so I could count out all the little dots that I need to if I wanted to do that, but that might take a while. So I could do that, or I could say 710, 720, 30, 40. Let's say we'll put it right here, 742. Is it closer to 700 or 800? It is closer to 700. Okay, so we're going to be doing some more of these, and we'll work on these together, and we'll do more examples together. So you can stop right now, and we'll take a break, and we will come back to doing it together. Do the we do part. For the we do part of this, I have several activities that are planned for the students that they can do. I have a hundreds chart that they may print out, that they're going to print out. We will talk about how we can see the tens, and we'll color that chart, that in on our chart. We will talk about how all of these have the pattern, and we will color those fives in also. That will help with the visual of being able to see that, counting by the tens and seeing that pattern. And that will help the students that need that extra visual and that hands-on. We'll do several examples together, just like what we had it on here. I will ask them to show me, their fingers. Do you understand, with the thumbs up or thumbs down? Do you get it or do you don't get it? They can hold a piece of paper up and write a number down or type it onto the screen to show me. That way I can see in real time what they are doing and if they are understanding, the concept. This is a game that I made up I got the idea off the internet, but I made this game, designed it on my own so that we can work on rounding. You use the cards number 7 through 9 and put the cards down onto the placemat. You write down what the number is, and you round that to either tens or 100s. You write the sentence down, and that will help you to know if you were getting it right. You can do that, or the students can do that with their learning coach. They can also show that to me and send that in. If someone does not have a deck of cards, then they can just write random numbers down or have somebody call out numbers to them. Their learning coach can call out numbers. I don't want to limit that to them if they don't have a deck of cards. But it would be something that I would know was coming up in my lesson plans for the week. So I would mention that they may want to, have those materials ready. I also have a website that will help out for anybody that needs extra help. It is a number line that can be manipulated, and they can see and move their cursors. It would be a lesson I would have to explain. I could do that one-on-one if somebody needed that extra visual, or in a small group, or it would be something that they may just have fun exploring with their learning coach. But I would make this website available to my students also. An assessment, I have made 2 little quizzes or worksheets, whatever you would like to call them, and it has our sentence built into it, and they are asked to round the number. They will decide what numbers go on the number line, write those down, and then use the sentence and round it out and mark it on there. 1 page is for hundreds and 1 page is for tens. I have 2 of those, so that I could get a good idea of both of them. I would go through and do a we do for 2 of these and then have them complete this. And, that means they would have 3 questions on hundreds and 3 questions on tens. I could get a good idea at that point of what their understanding level is. I think it would, come out being a successful lesson. And thank you very much for following along and listening to me today. Have a great day.